We did see record highs on markets on both sides of the border to close out a winning week for Bay and Wall Streets. Bay Street hit a record high for a second straight day. It was up this week by about 3%. The best week for the Canadian stock market so far this year. Shares in Loblaw hit a record high, as did Royal Bank. And then shares in Aritzia getting 2 upgrades after the women's clothing retailer reported strong earnings for the first quarter. That stock up by more than 14% today. It's now higher by more than 70% this year. On Wall Street, we also saw a record high on the Dow and gains for U.S. markets as well this week. Shares in Tesla, though, finished the week lower after snapping an 11-day winning streak earlier this week. The company announced it would delay the big reveal on its robo-taxi to October. And then shares in the biggest bank in the U.S., J.P. Morgan, moving lower today, even as the bank reported record profits. The Canadian Real Estate Association is scaling back its expectations for Canada's real estate market this year. CREA points to increased levels of supply and a quiet spring spurred by fewer interest rate cuts expected this year as 2 reasons for the change. Now, it is anticipating a gradual rebound in the national housing market in 2024, up by about 6% compared to last year. But that's down from an earlier forecast for a 10.5% gain. Now, the number of homes that changed hands month over month in June did move higher by 3.7%. And CREA senior economist Sean Cathcart says the month over month figures reflect some early signs of renewed life for the national housing market. And the European Union is calling out those blue check marks on X. Now, these are the first charges against a tech company since the EU's Digital Services Act took effect. The EU says X, formerly known as Twitter, falls short on transparency and accountability requirements, calling those blue check marks deceptive. The Commission also charged X with failing to comply with ad transparency rules. Now, X does have a chance to respond to the accusations and make changes to comply. TikTok and Facebook and Instagram owner Meta Platforms also facing investigations. And a 5-year deal between WestJet and its mechanics has now been ratified. Almost 700 mechanics went on strike over the Canada Day-long weekend, which led to more than 1,000 flights being canceled. In the Business Center, I'm Kris McCusker.